AI video generation is everywhere right now, but let me ask you something. How much control do you really have? Most tools stop at generate a clip and hope for the best. What if AI video worked less like a random generator and more like a cinema studio, where you don't just create a shot, you got options to choose? Camera movement? What about camera options? Choose the lens you want and the focal length. Today we are diving into Higgsfield Cinema Studio and why this might be one of the biggest shifts we have seen in AI filmmaking so far. Let's see if this is just another AI tool or the closest thing we have yet to a virtual film studio. One of the biggest upgrades is the unified workflow. In Higgsfield Cinema Studio, you go from text to image and then from image to video inside the same environment. There's no exporting, no re-uploading, and no jumping between tools while hoping the look stays consistent. You describe the scene, generate a still image, log the composition, and then extend it into motion. Creatively, this matters a lot. Real filmmaking always starts with a locked frame. You don't move the camera until you know why the shot exists. Higgsfield finally respects that logic, and you can feel it in the results. One of the standout features in this update is the use of real cinema cameras as style anchors. Instead of vague presets like cinematic or film look, Higgsfield lets you choose profiles inspired by real-world cinema gear like the ARRI Alexa 35, the Panavision Panaflex, and even iMAX style film cameras. These aren't just labels slapped onto a preset. They influence how the image behaves: highlight roll-off, contrast response, color depth, and overall tonal character. That gives you shots consistency, which is absolutely critical if you're working on multiple scenes for a trailer, a reel, or a short film. In real filmmaking, lenses define how a scene feels just as much as the camera itself. Wide lenses feel expansive and immersive. Macro lenses feel intimate and detailed. Longer focal lengths compress space and isolate the subject. In Higgsfield Cinema Studio, the lens becomes the style guide for the shot. You are not just choosing how the image looks, you are choosing how the audience experiences the scene. That's a very cinematographer first way of thinking, and it shows in the final output. Movement is handled in a similarly thoughtful way. There are no timelines, no keyframes, and no complicated animation curves. Instead, Higgsfield gives you intent-driven cinematic movement presets. These are slow push-ins, gentle lateral moves, and subtle parallax shifts that are designed specifically for storytelling, not visual noise. You are not animating in a technical sense, you are directing. This keeps the workflow clean and accessible while still producing shots that feel deliberate and professional. It's especially useful if you are not a VFX artist but still want motion that feels film grade. This is how you do it in Higgsfield Cinema Studio. Add a prompt to create an image, choose the cinematic camera you want for distinct look, whether it is digital or film. Then the lens for the camera, which has spherical and anamorphic options. Then the focal length for how wide you want the angle to be. Generate the image. Then immediately move to animate it with a video prompt, choose the camera movement which covers most of what you need, and generate to get the final output.
No. I finally do.
When I show close-up fictional characters, this is where the cinematic approach really becomes obvious. These shots aren't just about sharp faces or dramatic lighting, they are about presence. The framing feels intentional, the depth of field isolates the subject naturally, and the lighting wraps around the face instead of flattening it. You get subtle skin texture, controlled highlights, and an expression that feels held by the camera. It looks like a character caught mid-scene, not a random portrait brought to life. This is the kind of close-up that could sit comfortably in a film trailer or a dramatic sequence. Now, when we move into talking characters, things usually fall apart in AI tools, but here the difference is clear. The motion stays restrained and believable. Facial movement feels grounded, eye lines make sense, and the camera doesn't distract from the performance. Instead of exaggerated motion, the shot feels like a locked-off cinematic close-up where the focus is entirely on the character delivering a line. It feels directed, not animated, which makes dialogue-driven shots far more usable. Animated characters are another interesting example. Even though the character itself is stylized, the camera language stays cinematic. the lighting behaves like real light, the lens choice still affects perspective, and the framing feels intentional rather than playful or chaotic. This makes animated characters feel like they belong in a cinematic world, not just an animation test. It's a subtle but important distinction that helps animation feel more serious and film ready. Shots involving animals really highlight realism and restraint. For detail, eye reflections and depth separation feel natural, and the camera movement, if any, stays slow and deliberate. These shots don't feel like wildlife clips randomly animated. They feel like carefully composed moments, whether it's a close-up of an animal's face or a wider environmental shot, and the scene feels calm, observational, and cinematic. Cityscape shots lean heavily into scale and atmosphere. Wide frames feel expansive, perspective feels grounded, and lighting defines time of day and mood clearly. Instead of over-stylized motion, the camera often feels like it's gently observing the city. This makes these shots perfect for establishing scenes, futuristic concepts, or moody transitions that actually feel like cinema, not stock footage. Architecture shots benefit massively from controlled composition. Lines stay clean, symmetry is respected, and lighting enhances structure rather than overwhelming it. Whether it's historical architecture or modern design, the shots feel composed like architectural photography extended into motion. You can clearly feel the intention behind where the camera is placed and why it's there. Finally, macro shots really show attention to detail. Extreme close-ups feel intimate and tactile, with shallow depth of field and controlled focus that guides your eye. Texture, material, and light interaction become the subject, and even the smallest movement feels purposeful. These shots feel perfect for cinematic inserts, transitions, or mood-driven storytelling moments. All of this matters because it shows a clear shift in how AI video tools are evolving. Higgsfield Cinema Studio isn't trying to replace filmmakers, it's trying to think like one. By prioritizing visual language, consistency, and cinematic intent, it moves AI video generation away from novelty and toward something that you can actually be used for real storytelling. If you are tired of AI videos that look impressive for a moment but lack depth and intention, Higgsfield Cinema Studio is definitely worth paying attention to. This feels like AI video generation growing up. If this breakdown helped you, hit like, subscribe for more AI filmmaking content, and let me know in the comments. Would you actually use AI like this for real cinematic projects? I'll see you in the next one.